Imagine working 60 hours a week in New York City for 17 years, only for your wife to stand in court and tell you she's leaving you for her soulmate, while your own daughter cheers her on. So, here's what actually happened. When my wife, Elna, told me she was in love with her ex-boyfriend, Mark, I didn't fight. I didn't beg. I looked at our 18-year-old daughter, Lily, who looked me dead in the eye and said, "Dad, Mom deserves a fairy tale ending. You're just stable. Mark makes her feel alive." Fine. In court, I did something that shocked everyone. I gave her everything. The house in the suburbs, the joint savings, her luxury SUV, all of it. The only thing I kept was my construction business, which Elena called a pile of dusty bricks. She laughed as she signed the papers, thinking she'd just won the lottery. 3 weeks later, the fairy tale turned into a horror movie. Mark wasn't in love with Elena. He was in love with the idea of the house and the savings. When he found out my business wasn't part of the settlement and that I had stopped paying the mortgage the day the divorce was finalized, he vanished. He emptied the remaining cash and left her with a foreclosure notice. My phone rang on a Tuesday. It was Lily, sobbing. "Dad, Mark left. Mom can't pay the bills. The bank is taking the house, and I had to drop out of my private college because the tuition check bounced. Can we come stay with you?" I looked around my new, modest apartment in the city. Small, quiet, and entirely mine. I told her, "Lily, do you remember what you said? You said Mom deserved her true love. I gave her exactly that. I gave her the house, the car, and her freedom. If the fairy tale didn't work out, that's not my department." "But Dad, we're going to be homeless." I leaned back and said, "You and your mother spent 6 months hiding her affair while I was out breaking my back to pay for your lifestyle. You both wanted independence from my boring life. Well, congratulations. You finally have it." I hung up and blocked them both. In New York, we have a saying, you can't burn the bridge and then expect the guy on the other side to throw you a rope. They wanted a fairy tale, but they forgot that once the book is closed, the story is over.